Boston College has a need still in the transfer portal, and there's a new name to watch for that could make an immediate impact for the Boston College Eagles.
You are Locked On Boston College, your daily podcast on the Boston College Eagles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome. This is Locked On Boston College, your team every day. I'm your host, AJ Black of Eagle Insider, part of the 247 Network. I've been covering Boston College for over a decade. I love BC and I love talking about it with you. I know the insides and outs, and you're at the perfect place if you're looking for inside information. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Now, this is Locked On BC. We're your team every day. We are a daily Boston College podcast, one you can find free on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm so glad you're here because we have a big episode today. We're going to talk about what the heck is going on with women's basketball as the roster has been just completely decimated. I'll give you my thoughts on that. We're going to talk about next year's NFL draft. What players do you think could be getting drafted by the BC from BC in the 2026 NFL draft? I've got a quick update on Bryce Steele that you're going to want to hear about. And let's kick things off with transfer portal news because, hey, when it comes to making that for getting those hits, that nothing beats talking about the transfer portal. Now, as we all know, BC had made an offer to a linebacker out of Barton College, Ella Boykin, who is on a visit on Thursday. So you should be getting some news on that soon. But this isn't about Boykin. This is another transfer that BC has clearly made showed some interest in. And it is from another Power 4 program, which I know a lot of you folks are very excited about. This is 247, edge rusher, Makai Byerson out of West Virginia. Now, if you've heard of him, he was a recruit that BC went after pretty hard the first time when he was an actual recruit. He's from Midlothian, Virginia. He was a true freshman this last year. And, you know, he had offers from Virginia Tech and Kentucky, Rutgers, BC. He had 10 different offers. He was a 3-star recruit, 6'4", 270 coming out of high school. So I'm not sure, you know, maybe he'll end up in like a George Rooks role, but maybe he'll end up more as an edge rusher because I would get you his new weight from college, but West Virginia is one of those schools that when you enter the transfer portal, they nuke your page. So I can't find anything on him on their page anymore. So I don't know did they drop weight? I don't know. ESPN has like his recruiting weight on there, but that changes. So I'm not sure if he'd be more of an edge rusher or an inside, but I'm guessing edge because they just landed the kid Chris Marble from Wake Forest inside. So I think this is more of an edge rusher because I know that's something that you probably want to add to. So why would you do this? First of all, your edge rusher position, you have Quintavious Hutchins going into the season. He's going to graduate after this year. You want to, Bill O'Brien has clearly through the transfer portal made an emphasis on the trenches this year. If you look at how they're recruiting, there's a heavy emphasis on the offensive line and defensive line. And I've said before, I love this thought because that's how you win football games. You get good quarterbacks, you get good in the trenches, you win football games. So he's done that. But you also have to backfill a little bit because, you look at what Hafley has and hasn't done with, in the years past. He did not do a good job of adding depth that really mattered. You look at the edge rush position. Other than Quintavious Hutchins, this year you could see someone like Jason Flint play. I think he's definitely a guy that's pushed his way up. Maybe Josiah Griffin. There's a few names like that. But I look at that position and I say, you got guys probably ready for this year, but do you have them ready for the future? And that's where Byerson would come in. Like, I don't expect he's going to be a redshirt freshman if he comes to BC. I don't expect if he gets here that he would be a guy that would contribute right away. Like maybe he would, maybe he's really, really good and I'm just missing it. But I think a fairer expectation right off the bat would be that Byerson, would be a guy going into next year that you're looking at going, okay, this is year 3 now at the college ranks. Maybe he would be ready to go. And that's what you need to build. You need to build that at all positions, that you have guys ready, not just this year, but the year after. And I think that's where a guy like Byerson would be really critical. And honestly, all of these guys that they're bringing in now, whether it's Chris Marable, who probably will play more than others, but Chris Marable, Ella Boykin, if he comes here, I look at them as potentials for this year. Bill O'Brien's all about competing for now, but I look at them more as longer term solutions, building that depth moving forward, building guys that you can plug in when things go, when things are changing, when guys enter the portal or guys are hurt or graduation or whatever it is. So I think that's where Byerson would be really critical. Now, I'm not sure, I he took a visit this week. That's a little exclusive here. And, he did not commit yet. So I'm not sure if this is a guy that BC is going to be going to get, but it's definitely a target they're looking at. Other schools you may want to look at that could potentially go for him. I think Virginia Tech is one to watch for. So there's clearly a lot of interest here. We'll have to wait to see what happens. And that is Makai Byerson. Additionally, one little quick note from yesterday. If you were on my Eagle Insider board and you're a VIP, you know this because I drop a nugget every single day that I can. I try every day. Sometimes there's not a lot of BC news, but right now there's tons of it. So I drop you a little quick nugget. This is like 2 or 3 sentences of something cool going on. I was notified from a source of mine that Bryce Steele is no longer in the transfer portal. Now, that does not mean, and I don't have follow-ups on whether he's coming back to BC. I don't know what's going on here. But I can tell you he's not in the portal. So that could mean a couple things. It could mean that he's going back to BC. That would be great. Obviously, with his story, with his health issue, I would love to see, like, I hate using this word, but like a fairy tale ending for Steele, because like he deserves it. Like this guy went through hell and he was able to get back. And I would love like one, how great would it be for Bryce Steele to have like one huge play at Alumni Stadium where like, he makes like a strip sack or, pick six or something. I'm like, that can go down in BC lore. I was always hoping he would get that moment, and maybe he will, maybe he won't. It also could mean, maybe he's just not doing football. I don't know. We don't know the situation yet. I can just tell you he's not in the portal anymore. So I thought that was an interesting addition here. We'll have to wait to see if he's coming back or not. I'll get info on that, and hopefully give you some updates on that moving forward. So there's 2 portal news nuggets that I know you guys wanted to know more about. In a moment, let's get to the NFL draft. The 2025 draft is out. 3 guys are, 3 players got drafted. Looking ahead, are there targets on BC now that could be drafted in 2026? I have a couple names I'm looking at, and I'll tell you who those are in just a moment. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to go. Dive into hundreds of premium titles, including EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty, as easily as you stream your favorite TV shows. I am fighting with my kids for the TV all the time. And I'm, sometimes they're in one room, they're in the other. With the Fire Stick, I can just move. If I want to go game, if I want to play EA Sports, college football, I just go into another room. And that's what makes it so you can just jump from room to room. And I don't need a console for it. I love that I can now play Xbox games anywhere I want in my house. So I want you to head over to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K second generation, Fire TV Stick 4K Max first and second generation, and Fire TV Cube third generation. Welcome back. This is Locked On Boston College, your team every day. And this is a podcast that you could find on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Now, all you everydayers out there have been part of my crew for years. We've over 1,000 episodes here at Locked On BC. Know that in the spring, every year, AJ gets allergies. It only happens once a year, spring and the fall. So if you're hearing me sound froggy right now, that's the reason why. It's beautiful and green outside, but it's killing my sinuses. So I'm sorry if I sound froggy today. But I think I'm on the home stretch of this, and hopefully it'll be away soon. Now, The NFL draft. The NFL draft happened over the weekend. One of my favorite times of the year. Seeing where BC players end up, you had three. You had Drew Kendall going to the Eagles, you had Donovan Azaraku to the Cowboys, and you had Ozzie Trapilla to the Bears. Great news for BC. Unfortunately for Azaraku, I was hoping he'd be a first-round draft pick, but he wasn't. Now, moving ahead to 2026, will there be players? Every year, there seems to be at least a few players from BC that are ready to be drafted. And I asked on Twitter at AJBlack247, are there players that you think could be drafted? And I have three names that I'm going to be watching going into next year. The first name is Lewis Bond. Now, Lewis Bond, he could be, I think of him more as a later round draft pick. He's good. He does things well. Does he do anything spectacular? He does a great route running. He's got decent hands. I could see him as an NFL draft pick. There's going to be the next wide receiver class is, I believe, if Ryan Williams and the kid from Ohio State, Jermaine, Jermaine State, there's a lot of good wide receivers. So it might be tough for him. So honestly, of the three that I'm going to mention, I'm going to actually give Lewis Bond probably the smallest odds. And this is not a knock on him. It's just tough. You have to be part of the top 250 in the class. And with so many good wide receivers coming out next year, it's just a really tough class for him. I think Lewis Bond is tough as nails. He's a talented wide receiver. He does a lot of great things. He's elusive. He runs great routes. He's a good blocker. But it's going to be tough. I think that's my point here with Bond. I think Bond's going to have a tougher route than the other two to get into the NFL draft. My second name is going to be Davion Crouch. Davion Crouch, I can't believe he's already graduating. But unfortunately, Jeff Hafley burned one of his years. And this, again, actually, I should preface all of this by saying if the NCAA rules that each player has 5 years, some of these guys could come back. Honestly, I would doubt Lewis Bond would be back another year. I feel like he's been here forever now. Davion Crouch, I feel, could use another year because I feel like he's just coming into his own now. Like, we need like 2 years of Davion Crouch, but this is all if the NCAA rules that they're going to get 5 years. And this is something we have heard a lot about recently. So it could happen. But if Crouch enters the draft, I'm expecting a big year out of Crouch. I think this is the year he comes out as being one of the better linebackers in the ACC. He's fast, he's violent, he's all over the field. He can diagnose plays really quickly. He's explosive, he's disruptive. He's got everything that you want in a linebacker, and I think that's going to be attractive to NFL teams. Like, I think I could see like an NFL team in like the 4th or 5th round going for a guy like Davion Crouch, because he can do a lot. Like, I go back to that Pinstripe Bowl game, right? He had 14 tackles in that game, and he looked electric on a field that was like playing on mud. Like, he was everywhere. The defense is now his. Donovan Azaraku, Cam Horsley, they're gone. Cam Arnold is gone. He's going to be wearing the green dot. He's going to be the guy field generating that defense come this fall. And I'm expecting a lot of development out of him. Like, he's already developed, but I feel like right now Crouch is good, but there's a chance that come, fall, he becomes must see. I think there's a chance of this. He's just so talented. So I look at him as another one. I think there's a chance that he could be a player that gets drafted. And I just like a lot of what he does. And I think it would translate to the NFL. And the one that I saw, Dane Brugger of The Athletic put him in his first round, which I was like, wow, was offensive lineman Jude Bowery. Now, Jude Bowery, I think everyone's waiting for like that big year. He's going to be absolutely critical this year. Like, if Jude Bowery can't stay healthy this year, BC's in trouble. Last year, he was banged up. The poor guy by the end of the year, like, it was like, he was like an operation game, like the injuries all over the place, but credit to that dude. Like, he was out there even battered up. Like, he is a tough SOB and kept playing. But Dane Brugger mentioned that scouts are starting to pay attention to him. Like, they're starting to notice that he is really, really good in run blocking, and that, there's a lot of pieces there to like. They mentioned that Trapillo was a 2nd round draft pick, but they see Bowery as with a higher upside, which is crazy. But when I look at Bowery, the big piece here, it's got to be his health. Like he's, and I hate that this is what we have to talk about with him, but he's got to stay healthy this year. Like 12 to 13 games. Oh, no, we're going to talk ACC championship here. 12 to 13 games here, where he just needs to play as many snaps as possible. Like he may get banged up, but he can't miss a lot of games because that's going to become a red flag. And that's not just me saying that. Like you have to know NFL scouts are going to look at that and say, okay, this guy has a history here. Are we going to use a draft pick on something like that? I think that's going to be something to note. Now, the other piece to note with Bowery is he has one more year left. So technically, if he has a good year and decides he loves Boston College and he wants to come back, he could, even without the 5-year rule, he could come back next year too. That being said, given what I just said about the injuries, if I were Jude Bowery, I would go. Like just if he gets graded out, like if he does like some he gets some feedback from scouts or whatever, showing like talking about where he could possibly go, and it's first, second, or third day, go. I mean, if you're him, you have to do it. Like I feel like that would be a missed opportunity for him if he doesn't. So Bowery for me I think is going to be the biggest slam dunk for a draft pick as long as he can stay healthy. Now you look at the rest of the roster, there may be other names as well. The other one I apologize because I am not, I'm not meant. I just noticed I have like a sticker on my face for my daughter. I've been doing this whole show with a sticker on my face. I did not mean to do this. I just totally, and I guess it's the allergy brain. This is not meant to discredit this one because I think the other big name to watch for is Amari Jackson. Amari Jackson as well could, if he stays healthy too. And last year was just ACLs are not something you can predict, but he is as good as a cornerback as you're going to get. So like you had Elijah Jones go in the 3rd round last year. I could see Amari Jackson doing the same thing as long as he stays healthy. Like he is that good. Like he has a big year this year, and believe me, another episode we'll talk about how excited I am about the secondary. If he has a big year, stays healthy, I could see him going. The other name to mention now, but I just maybe I don't think it would happen yet, is KP Price. Like, is there a potential that KP Price leaves early to go to the draft? Like if he turns into all ACC safety, I could see that potentially happening. But that would be that I'm not ready to go that route yet. So the 3, I meant to say 4 players. Amari Jackson's the other one. So hopefully you listen to this before screaming at me that I forgot Amari Jackson. And that's my point there. Now, in our final segment, we don't talk a lot about women's basketball, but I need to talk about it right now because it's a big mess in Chestnut Hill. I'll tell you what I mean about that in just a moment. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. But that's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I just noticed I've been taking my family out too much for food. I've been wasting too much money. Now I can budget smarter and save more money. And with my wife being able to check on my account too, it's easier and smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Welcome back. This is Locked On Boston College, your team every day. We are here free wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And when you're done with this episode, check out Locked On ACC. I'm really excited. We have our first Locked On ACC squad where I'm actually on. They changed the time so I can join it. I had a lot of fun with it, so I hope you guys check it out. Not a lot of screaming and yelling, but I had some great things to say. I hope you check that out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, again, I don't talk a whole lot about women's basketball. I talk about what people follow. I'm a businessman. I do this for not just for fun, because I like to do this for a business. And women's basketball does not move the needle. I'm just going to be blunt with you. Like, and it's not just me saying that. Like, you can look at the attendance, and it's just it's dead, and it's sad because women's basketball is a lot of fun when it's good. But BC women's basketball has been stuck in a mire for a while. Now this year they made the WBIT. They lost to Villanova in the first round. Not a bad season, but what's happened after the season has been really eye raising. Since the end of the season, BC has lost 11 players to the transfer portal. They lost 2 to graduation, and that leaves them with 2 remaining from last year. Anyone who's anyone on that roster from last year is gone. They have all transferred out. There's ones, there's a player in Texas now, in Ohio State, Florida State, and I saw like Purdue, Fort Wayne. They're everywhere now. And this is the second time in like 3 years that we've seen a mass exodus of this roster. And it makes me wonder what is going on. And I honestly don't have an answer. The obviously the school's not going to talk about it. The recruits usually, the players, they say the right things on their way out. And honestly, I've seen, when they had the mass exodus a couple of years ago, many of them came back. So to me, it's not Joanna McNamee. I at least when I see it, because like some of those players left and they were, they showed pictures of them coming back and seeing her. So I don't know what's going on. Is it an NIL thing? Like is BC's women's program just not getting the money that they need to keep these players around? I mean, I look at what they've brought in so far. You look at the portal class that they have, they've brought in 1 player. 1. And it's a player from San Diego State who averaged 5 points a game last year. Hey, she shot 47% from the field from 3-point range, which is crazy good, but that's it. So BC can't bring in players right now. So what is going on? Like, if you want to, you're going to have this program. Like, if you're going to have men's basketball, you have to have women's basketball. It's just part of Title IX. That's the way things work. You have to support it. The school has to support it. And, I think that McNamee in general has been pretty good at recruiting. Like, you look at the recruiting classes, she's bringing in 4 stars pretty regularly. But if you're bringing them in and losing them a year after, which is what just happened, what's the point of all this? You got to be able to pay them. You have to be able to use your NIL money to this. And that goes back to the whole BC thing. And I don't know if this is something that hopefully Father Jack will see, because I honestly do believe, if just like with men's basketball, who honestly, they have much higher attendance, but comparatively, it's not that far off. You make BC women's basketball competitive and good, people will show up. I don't know how this continues to fall on the BC administration, and this is not on the staff itself. I'm talking higher up. That if you put money into things, you will make money. At any sport, look at women's lacrosse. You put the money in there, and boom, you have sold out, games. You have, they're making the playoffs. There's tons of interest in that program. But then you let teams like women's hockey, women's basketball, and even like men's basketball, you don't put the right amount of funding into this, and they flounder. And then no one pays attention, and it becomes a money pit. And that's what it is right now. And it's not fair to the recruit players, it's not fair to the staff, and it's not fair to the fans. I hope Father Jack, when he takes over, notices this and allocates the funds in the right way, so that you do the NIL stuff. That that they're, once you get BC women's basketball to a point where they're competitive, there are girls and not even just girls. Like, I mean, I would love to take my daughter to a BC women's basketball game, but I just don't. But if they were competitive and fun, you would have a fan base that would start. You have to do that. But instead, right now, what you have is this embarrassing thing where 11 players are in the portal. Like, you don't get that. Like, what bothers me is when you look across the college landscape, any sport, a mass exodus, because basically this just wiped out your entire roster. Like, it's completely gone. You do not see this unless there is a coaching change. Like you would have, like when Dion took over, or Kurt Signetti, or even like Rich Rod at West Virginia right now. And then in men's basketball, some of the roster, like Indiana and things like that, it happens when their coaches change. It shouldn't happen when your longtime coach is still there. I don't know what's going on. It just stinks in Denmark right now. And I feel bad for this program because it's just floundering, and it's impossible to take that next step if you're losing 11 players in the portal. Hopefully they can figure this out and fix it soon, because I would love to talk more about women's basketball, but right now it's a mess. This is AJ Black. Thank you for following along. You can follow me on Twitter at AJ Black 247. Check me out on Eagle Insider. I want to appreciate everyone who's listened. If this is your first time checking it out, make sure you hit that like button if you're watching on YouTube, or subscribe to us on wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back again tomorrow. We should be hearing, I'm going to give you a hint, there should be a commitment coming for men's football, for football in the next, either on Thursday or Friday. When that happens, I will make sure we talk about it, but I want to make sure that you know it's coming soon. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all again tomorrow for another episode of Locked On Boston College, your team every day.